Let me ask you a question that might change how you see the dog sleeping at your feet forever. Is that creature truly just an animal, or is it something far, far more? This isn't just another sweet story about pets. This is about pulling back the curtain on one of life's most profound spiritual secrets. A secret that will forever alter your view of your dog's real job in your life. And this incredible truth was first brought to light by Edgar Cayce, a man who could tap into a universe of knowledge while he slept. Every dog has an exact assignment in its human's life, Cayce declared in one of his famous trances. He said they are spiritual agents wearing a costume of fur and paws. Their devotion isn't simple instinct, it's a soul-level promise. They sense your emotions before you're even consciously aware of them. This bond, Cayce explained, isn't physical. It's an energetic, spiritual link across dimensions. Cayce had already proven his stunning ability to see past lives, predict the future, and offer impossible medical cures. But this revelation about dogs struck a different chord. It spoke to a feeling millions of us have every day, but could never quite put into words. Have you ever truly stopped to consider why your dog entered your life at the precise moment it did? Out of all the animals in the world, why did you two find each other? And why does it have the exact personality, the unique habits, the funny little quirks that it does? Edgar Cayce's work reveals that there are no accidents in this story. There is only a perfectly designed mission, a divine assignment masked as unconditional love. And now, decades after his earth-shaking revelation, we're ready to finally unpack this incredible mystery. Prepare yourself to learn the real story about your dog. Prepare to understand its true purpose for being with you. Just for a second, recall the story of how you met. Perhaps you walked into a shelter just to look and walked out with your soulmate. Maybe it simply appeared at your door, lost and alone. Or perhaps you fought against getting a pet for ages, until some unexplainable pull finally changed your mind. Do you honestly think that was a coincidence? The truth Edgar Cayce uncovered will fundamentally change how you see that first meeting. You and your dog had an appointment, and you knew each other long before this lifetime. You share a bond that stretches beyond time, beyond space, even beyond death. In the spiritual realm, before we choose to be born, we make sacred agreements with other souls about the parts we'll play in each other's lives. These pacts are made with our families, our friends, our partners, and yes, with our pets. But before we explore the astonishing details about our dogs, it's vital to understand the man who unlocked this secret. Edgar Cayce was no showman looking for a spotlight. He was a regular man who stumbled upon a phenomenal gift and dedicated his life to using it to map the spiritual reality that surrounds us. Born on a humble Kentucky farm in 1877, Cayce was a young photographer when he discovered his power. At 21, he lost his voice to a crippling laryngitis, and doctors gave up hope. Then, the impossible occurred. During a hypnosis session aimed at his condition, Cayce fell into a profound trance. In that state, he not only diagnosed his own ailment with stunning medical precision, but prescribed a specific treatment that completely healed him. His voice returned. But the true miracle was the discovery that, while asleep, Cayce could access information about any person, anywhere on Earth. He only needed a name and an address to give flawless medical diagnosis, predict future events, and reveal detailed past life histories. For 43 years, he gave over 14,000 documented psychic readings. Esteemed physicians verified his medical insights. Total strangers testified to his accurate predictions. Scientists were baffled, unable to explain his methods. They called him the sleeping prophet, because this river of knowledge only flowed when he was in a deep trance. Upon waking, he remembered nothing. It was as if a higher wisdom was speaking through him. And it was this exact same higher wisdom that unveiled the secret purpose of dogs. The information Cayce received about animals was consistent and clear. He described how different species have distinct spiritual roles on our planet, why certain animals are drawn to specific people, and how pets act as living bridges between our world and the spiritual plane. But dogs, Cayce insisted, occupy a unique place in this cosmic order. They are the only animal species that willingly entered a conscious agreement with humankind, not for mere survival or taming, but a sacred spiritual contract. Dogs chose to evolve beside humanity, Case revealed. They sacrificed a piece of their primal nature to become our spiritual companions. This is a sacred pact that spans across many lifetimes. What's staggering is that Case's revelations were made decades before modern science even began to study animal behavior, interspecies communication, or the emotional bonds we share with our pets. He was describing realities that science would only start to grasp 50 years later. Case taught that dogs operate on a higher energetic frequency than we do. They perceive spiritual energies, see changes in our aura, and even sense future events through their extrasensory gifts. A dog knows when its mission with a person is complete, Case said. They also know when it's their time to leave. This isn't about sadness, it's about purpose fulfilled. In his readings, Case often highlighted how dogs are living mirrors for their owners. If someone needs to learn loyalty, a fiercely loyal dog comes into their life. If they must develop patience, they receive a wonderfully stubborn dog. If they need to heal a deep emotional wound, they are given a dog with a nurturing, healing presence. The most incredible part is that Case stated these facts with the same unwavering confidence he used to diagnose diseases. For him, healing a body and understanding a soul were one and the same. It was all part of a single, interwoven spiritual reality. Today, over 80 years since he passed, Edgar Case's teachings about dogs are constantly being affirmed by the real, life experiences of millions of people worldwide. Owners report telepathic links, feelings of spiritual protection, and profound personal growth that can only be understood through the wisdom left by the sleeping prophet. Case's credibility isn't just from his psychic talent, but from the decades of his information being proven true. When he speaks of the spiritual mission of dogs, he's not theorizing. He is relaying direct knowledge from a higher dimension of reality. And that knowledge is about to transform your relationship with your dog forever. Just for a second, recall the story of how you met. Perhaps you walked into a shelter just to look, and walked out with your soulmate. Maybe it simply appeared at your door, lost and alone. Or perhaps you fought against getting a pet for ages, until some unexplainable pull finally changed your mind. Do you honestly think that was a coincidence? The truth Edgar Case uncovered will fundamentally change how you see that first meeting. You and your dog had an appointment, and you knew each other long before this lifetime. You share a bond that stretches beyond time, beyond space, even beyond death. In the spiritual realm, before we choose to be born, we make sacred agreements with other souls about the parts we'll play in each other's lives. These pacts are made with our families, our friends, our partners, and yes, with our pets. Canine souls select their human families before they are even conceived. Case explained in a session that moved everyone to tears. They review our spiritual needs and prepare to serve us in the exact way that we require. This means your dog isn't just an animal you rescued. It's a soul who accepted a very specific job to assist in your spiritual growth. It knows your vulnerabilities, your deepest insecurities, your unhealed emotional scars, and it arrived with the perfect personality to help you work on those very things. Consider your dog's character. If it is fiercely protective, it's likely you need to work on your sense of safety and trust. If it is endlessly playful, perhaps you need to rediscover joy and spontaneity. If it is calm and tranquil, your soul is probably crying out for peace. But the link is far deeper than just personality. Case revealed that many of our dogs are reincarnations of pets we've loved in past lives. They come back to continue the sacred work they started with us before. Recognition of a past life dog is immediate, said Case. There's an instant sense of familiarity, a connection that doesn't need to be built because it's ancient. Have you ever felt that? That feeling that you've known your dog for a lifetime, far longer than you've actually been together. That's not your imagination. It's a soul-level memory, The signs of this past life bond are clear. Your dog might react to certain places with a strange familiarity. It might have fears or preferences that have no basis in its current life. It might display skills or behaviors that seem built in, like echoes from another existence. Case also shared that in some cases, these dogs are actually human souls who chose to be born as animals to serve one specific person. These are the truly special dogs, the ones with ancient human wisdom in their eyes, who show profound compassion and who sometimes act almost human. These souls make an incredible sacrifice. Case explained. They forfeit a human life to serve as a spiritual guardian. It is an act of unconditional love we can barely comprehend. This helps explain why some dogs seem to grasp complex ideas, why they show such sophisticated empathy, and why they often seem to be trying to teach us something important with their actions. The timing of their arrival is also no accident. Your dog walks into your life at the precise moment you require them. It could be during a painful breakup, right when you are ready for a huge personal breakthrough, or just before you face a challenge that will require the exact support that only it can provide. Edgar Cayce called this perfect timing, divine orchestration. Nothing is by chance. Every meeting has a purpose. Every bond has a meaning. Every relationship has a spiritual assignment. And the assignment of a dog is one of the most sacred of all. They are here to teach us about unconditional love, loyalty, forgiveness, joy, and presence. But they are also here to shield us energetically, help us heal old wounds, and prepare us for the next chapter of our soul's journey. When you look at your dog now, you're not seeing a simple animal. You are seeing a spiritual being that chose to pause its own evolutionary journey to accelerate yours. You are seeing a courageous soul who signed up to stand by you through every high and every low. Why does your dog sometimes act like it's shielding you from something you can't see? Why does it get nervous in certain places? Why does it seem to sense trouble or weird presences long before you do? The answer is far beyond simple instinct. They are energetic bodyguards disguised as pets. While we humans have let our natural spiritual senses go dormant, dogs have kept that ability perfectly intact. They see, feel, and perceive realities our logical minds have long since shut out, and they use this sixth sense to protect us in ways we can hardly fathom. Dogs are living spiritual sentinels. Cayce explained in one of his readings. They can detect negative presences, heavy energies, and even spiritual entities that approach their human. This means that when your dog is barking at an empty corner, it's not barking at nothing. It's sounding an alarm about something that is there, but that you cannot perceive. A dog's ability to see past the veil is one reason so many ancient cultures revered them. But their protection is more than just an alarm system. They serve as living energy shields, literally absorbing negativity aimed at their owners and neutralizing these dense energies in their own auric field. A dog can absorb a huge portion of the negative energy sent to its human. Cayce revealed. They do this intentionally as part of their sacred duty. It's a service of pure love. This astounding fact explains why some dogs develop baffling illnesses that seem to mirror their owner's own emotional or physical state. They aren't just getting sick, they are literally taking the energetic hit for us, processing toxic energy to keep the family safe. Cayce described 3 layers of this spiritual protection. Level 1, energetic perimeter. Every dog sets up a protective bubble around its home and family. They can feel when someone with bad intentions is coming, long before they arrive at the door. That's why your dog might bark or get anxious when a specific person approaches. Level 2, the spirit shield. Dogs can see and interact with spirits from other dimensions. They act as a natural firewall, blocking negative spiritual influences from affecting their family. Level 3, advanced psychic defense. Some dogs, particularly those with a very deep soul bond to their owners, can intercept directed psychic attacks, ill will, or curses. They take the full force of these energies so that they never reach their human target. What makes this so extraordinary is that they do it willingly. No one forces them into this role. They choose it out of love. It's the spiritual contract they signed before being born. A dog's loyalty isn't instinct. Case emphasized. It's a spiritual vow. They promise to serve and protect, and they honor that vow with their very last breath. This explains behaviors we misinterpret as simple jealousy or being possessive. When your dog takes a dislike to someone, it's not being rude. It is sensing something in that person's energy that it knows is not good for you. When it insists on sleeping on your bed, it's not being spoiled. It is continuing its protective detail during your most vulnerable state, sleep. While we sleep, our energy field is more open to outside influence. Dogs know this intuitively and stand guard all night. It's why so many dogs become hyper, alert after dark, even with no obvious physical threat. Case also revealed that dogs can foresee negative events. They sense the shifts in the energy field that come before accidents, illnesses, or major life crises. This is why they sometimes act strangely or try to warn us about something we can't see. They see future probabilities in the currents of present energy, Case said. An agitated dog may be warning you of something that hasn't happened yet, but is already forming in the energy field. This foresight is one of their most advanced forms of protection. They don't just react to danger, they help us prepare for it. Now that you understand your dog is a spiritual guardian, it's time to learn how to read the signals it's constantly sending. Every bizarre or confusing behavior has a much deeper meaning. Your dog is trying to tell you about realities you can't see on your own. But first, I can't miss the chance to invite you to the Quantum Thinking Challenge. It's for anyone ready to become the master of their reality and consciously create the life they desire. You'll get 21 days of exercises to rewire your mind, elevate your frequency, and unlock your true energetic power. If you want to join, click the link in the first pinned comment. Now, let's start with the most common and misunderstood signal, barking at nothing. When your dog barks at a spot in the room where nothing is visible, it is seeing something you can't. Edgar Cayce explained that dogs perceive spiritual entities, pools of residual energy, and even imprints from intense emotional events of the past. Every space holds energetic memories, Cayce taught. Dogs read those memories like an open book. They bark to alert you to energies that could be affecting you negatively. If your dog persistently barks at the same spot, take note. A traumatic event might have occurred there. It could be an entry point for dense energies, or there might be a spirit trying to get your attention. The tone of the bark is also a clue. Short, sharp barks usually signal a physical presence. Long, deep, throaty barks can signal a negative spiritual energy. Rapid, high-pitched barks are often a warning of immediate danger. Another key mystical behavior is avoiding certain places. If your dog consistently avoids a room or becomes agitated in a certain area, it's picking up on something important. Dogs are like walking Geiger counters for energy, Cayce said. They feel instantly when a space is heavy with negativity or has unwanted guests. If your dog refuses to enter a room, trust its instinct. Cleanse the energy of that space. Light a candle, burn some sage, or simply say a prayer asking for the area to be cleared and protected. Have you ever seen your dog stare intently at something invisible? It might freeze for minutes, head tilted, with a look of intense concentration, as if watching a movie only it can see. When this happens, your dog is likely observing a spiritual presence. It could be a guardian spirit, a departed loved one, or simply a shift in the energy. Its reaction tells you everything. If it's calm, the presence is benevolent. If it is tense or uneasy, that energy might need clearing. Those moments when your dog comes to you for no reason and glues itself to your side also have a specific purpose. Cayce revealed that dogs can feel when our energy is unbalanced or when we're being targeted by negative thoughts. They move in to provide instant protection. Their physical presence reinforces our auric field, Cayce explained, and helps deflect negative influences. The next time your dog is suddenly stuck to you like glue, pause and check in with yourself. Were you just worrying, stressed, or thinking negative thoughts? Your dog sensed you needed energetic backup. Overly protective behavior is another major sign. If your dog suddenly starts shadowing you, sleeping right outside your door, or getting more defensive with strangers, it may sense you're in a phase of spiritual vulnerability. This often happens during major life changes, periods of high stress, or when you're making big decisions. Our energy becomes more porous, and our dogs instinctively ramp up their security detail. Comment below. What's the most unexplainable thing your dog has ever done? Let's figure out what they were trying to tell you. Even food can be a spiritual signal. A dog that suddenly loses its appetite or dramatically changes eating habits may be absorbing dense energy from the home or its owners. They literally lose the desire to eat when they're working overtime to protect the family energetically. Case taught that if a dog goes off its food with no medical explanation, we should look at what is happening emotionally in the home. Are there fights, high stress, or heavy energies that need to be cleared? Sleep patterns are also a report card. A dog that is sleeping far more than usual may be processing negative energy it has absorbed. Sleep is when they transmute these energies and cleanse themselves. Conversely, a dog that is restless at night, that can't seem to settle, may be detecting intense spiritual activity in its environment. It's standing watch to protect the family during its most vulnerable hours. The most touching behavior case described is when a dog begins to show an overwhelming amount of affection for no clear reason. It becomes extra cuddly, seeks more physical contact, and wants to be close. It does this when it senses its mission with that person is drawing to a close. Case revealed that it's as if they know their shared time is limited and they want to soak in every single moment. This knowledge gives us a beautiful duty to pay attention to the signs our dogs constantly send us. And the communication is just getting started. Edgar Cayce discovered that dogs don't just protect and love us. They are a perfect, living mirror of our soul. Every trait, every behavior, every problem your dog has is reflecting something very specific about your own inner world. Dogs are a direct externalization of their human's internal state. Cayce revealed in a reading that stunned the room. They show us on the outside what we need to see about ourselves, but can't. This means your dog is essentially an open book about your soul, its strengths, its weaknesses, its fears, its needs for healing. All of it is being mirrored in your dog's personality. Let's start with a mind-bending example. Aggressive dogs are rarely owned by outwardly aggressive people. More often, they are owned by people who suppress their anger. The dog becomes the walking, barking pressure valve for the rage the owner won't allow themselves to feel. Instead of judging a territorial dog, pause and ask, where in my life do I feel my boundaries are being violated? Where do I need to be better at protecting my own emotional territory? Cayce explained that dogs arrive in our lives pre-loaded with the exact personality needed to show us our own blind spots. Let's look at the most common reflections. The anxious dog. If your dog is anxious, it's highly likely you wrestle with anxiety, even if it's hidden. Anxious dogs show up for people who need to learn to trust the flow of life, relax, and let go of control. They force us to cultivate patience and manage our own internal static. The fearful dog, a dog that is afraid of everything, is mirroring our own unacknowledged fears. They act out how fear can cripple us and keep us from truly living. As we help our dog gain courage, we learn to conquer our own inner demons. The stubborn dog. If your dog is headstrong, it's reflecting your own resistance to what is. Stubborn dogs appear for people who need to learn about surrender and flexibility. They teach us we can't always be in control. The needy dog, a dog that demands constant attention, is mirroring our own emotional insecurity. It shows us where our own need for validation might be out of balance. By teaching the dog it is secure, we learn to provide that same security for ourselves. The independent dog. Aloof. Independent dogs often show up for people who have trouble with intimacy and connection. They teach us about the healthy balance between our own space and shared love. But the most powerful mirror is how a dog's physical health reflects its owner's emotional world. Casey's findings on this were revolutionary. Digestive issues. Dogs with stomach problems often belong to people who are having trouble digesting a life situation. They're literally absorbing and processing the life stress their human cannot handle. Skin problems. Dogs with skin issues may be mirroring their owners' issues with self-worth and vulnerability. The skin is our boundary to the world. A dog's skin problems often point to its owner's difficulties with feeling exposed. Respiratory problems. A dog that develops breathing trouble might be reflecting its owner's feeling of being suffocated or oppressed in their own life, unable to breathe freely. Heart problems, perhaps most moving of all. Dogs that develop heart conditions are often owned by people with a broken or closed-off heart. They are literally taking on their owner's heartache. Dogs take on their humans' illnesses as a final act of spiritual service. Case taught. They would rather suffer in their body than see their owner suffer in their soul. This insight carries a profound responsibility. When our dog gets sick, we must also ask ourselves what part of our own life needs healing. In many cases, when we begin our own emotional healing, our dogs make a miraculous recovery. But this mirror works for the positive too. Joyful, well-adjusted dogs reflect owners who are living in inner harmony. Loving, sociable dogs are a mirror for people who are open to giving and receiving love. Your dog's personality also points to your own hidden gifts. If your dog is incredibly intuitive, it's a sign you have psychic gifts you're not developing. If it's fiercely protective, you may have a powerful natural talent for nurturing and leadership. Edgar Cayce taught us to accelerate our own growth by simply observing the reflection our dogs provide. Instead of getting frustrated with their behavior, we should ask, what is this trying to teach me about me? When we start to see our dogs as soul mirrors, the relationship transforms. We no longer see them as having problems to be fixed, but as offering lessons to be learned. Have you ever felt that your dog could read your mind? Communication between a human and a dog does not rely on words. Casey explained. It happens via thought waves, mental pictures, and a direct energetic link between two consciousnesses. Dogs are natural, born masters of telepathy. It's a skill they never lost. While humanity developed spoken language and let our telepathic senses wither, dogs kept this pure form of connection alive. They don't just receive our thoughts, they are constantly broadcasting information back to us. The problem is, most of us have forgotten how to tune into this silent conversation. Let's start with a few experiences you've definitely had. Thinking about dinner makes the dog appear. You're on the couch, you haven't moved, but you briefly think about feeding your dog. A minute later, it's sitting in the kitchen, waiting expectantly. It didn't hear a thing, it received your intention. Shared grief. You're feeling heartbroken but holding it in. Yet, your dog comes and rests its head on your lap, offering silent comfort. It felt your emotional state before you ever showed it. Arrival radar, your dog gets excited and goes to the front door minutes before you arrive home. Even if you keep an irregular schedule, it's sensing your intention to return home long before your car is in the driveway. Cayce explained this happens in what he called the shared field of consciousness. When you forge a deep bond with your dog, you literally create a shared mental space where thoughts, emotions, and intentions can flow back and forth. It's not magic, it's spiritual physics. Cayce revealed that consciousness vibrates at a certain frequency. When two beings tune into the same frequency, telepathy becomes effortless. You can actively develop this communication. Here are the methods Cayce taught. Method 1. The mind movie. Sit quietly near your dog. Close your eyes and form a clear mental picture of what you want it to do. If you want it to come to you, visualize it walking over. If you want it to be calm, see it lying peacefully. Hold that image firmly, like sending a photograph from your mind to its mind. Don't force it, just send the picture. Method 2. The feeling broadcast. Dogs are emotional sponges. You can communicate with them through pure feeling. If you want it to feel safe, cultivate a deep feeling of peace inside yourself. If you want it to be alert, generate a feeling of focused readiness. The key is to genuinely feel the emotion, not just think about it. Dogs read what you feel, not what you pretend to feel. Method 3. The soul gaze bridge. Look gently into your dog's eyes. Hold a soft, loving gaze. While holding this eye contact, mentally send your message. Case discovered that direct eye contact opens an instantaneous telepathic channel. It's how you can have a full conversation with your dog using only a look. Method 4. Mental questions and body language answers. You can ask your dog questions in your mind and watch how it answers with its body or its energy. Mentally ask, "Are you feeling okay?" and observe its reaction. Ask, "Want to go for a walk?" and watch what it does. The answers will come through a tail wag, a shift in posture, or even a sudden image that pops into your own mind. Trust the first feeling you get back. But this soul-to-soul communication goes far beyond simple requests. Case revealed that dogs often try to send us critical information about our health, our future, and our spiritual path. Health alerts dogs can detect illness before symptoms show. If your dog begins obsessively sniffing or licking a certain spot on your body, pay very close attention. It could be alerting you to a health problem developing there. Character readings. When your dog has an intense dislike of someone, it is receiving energetic data about that person you can't consciously access. Trust its read on people. Event predictions. Dogs can sense the energetic shifts that precede big events. If your dog is acting unusually strange for no good reason, it may be sensing a major life change is on the horizon. The most profound revelation Edgar Cayce shared about our dogs is their role as spiritual healers. Dogs are divine instruments of healing, he stated. They can absorb our trauma, dissolve our energetic blockages, and restore our emotional equilibrium. This is one of their most sacred duties. If you have ever been through a crisis and felt your dog's presence gave you an almost supernatural comfort, you have experienced this healing power firsthand. It wasn't just companionship. It was a literal transfer of healing energy through your loving bond. Dogs have a natural ability we have lost. They can absorb negative energy without being permanently harmed by it. They act like conscious energy filters, pulling in our emotional pain and transforming it back into light. Let's break down how this healing works. Trauma absorption. When you are in deep emotional pain, from grief, a breakup, or stress, your dog instantly detects this turmoil in your energy field. It will move close to you, and through touch or mere presence, it begins to draw that dense, painful energy into itself. Have you noticed how your dog becomes your shadow when you're sad? How it seems to need more cuddles, wanting to be glued to your side. It's not just comforting you, it is actively siphoning the energetic pain out of your system. Energetic transmutation. Once a dog absorbs this negative energy, it processes it in its own energy field. Cayce explained they have an innate ability to transmute dense energy back into a pure, neutral state. They are spiritual alchemists, turning our emotional lead into spiritual gold. The return of healed energy. After processing the toxic energy, the dog then radiates purified, healing energy back to its human. This happens through licks, nuzzles, and even a loving gaze. That's why you feel so much better after you spend time with your dog. You have literally received an energy transfusion. This isn't just a sweet idea. It's a real energetic exchange you can feel. So many people report that during dark times, their dog's constant presence was the one thing that helped them heal. Cayce identified several types of healing dogs provide. Anxiety healing. Dogs are natural anxiety healers because their entire being radiates no-ness. They don't worry about tomorrow or obsess over yesterday. Their grounded energy automatically calms our frazzled nervous system. Depression healing. A dog's life force is a natural antidepressant. They beam out pure joy, excitement for life, and total love. This bright energy slowly but surely dissolves the heavy fog of depression. Trauma healing. Dogs have a unique gift for healing trauma because they provide perfect emotional safety. They don't judge, they don't criticize, they don't leave. This unconditional anchor creates a safe harbor where old wounds can finally surface and be healed. Healing loneliness. The soul, deep bond we have with our dogs heals the ache of loneliness and abandonment. They teach us we are worthy of absolute love and that we are never, ever truly alone. This healing is most powerful while we sleep. Case revealed that when we sleep with our dogs, a profound energetic synchronization takes place. Our auras merge and healing occurs on the deepest subconscious levels. During sleep, the defenses of the conscious mind are down. Case explained. That is when the most potent healing can happen. A dog sleeping next to its human is actively performing spiritual maintenance on their soul. This is why so many of us feel an instinctual pull to sleep with our dogs. It's not just for comfort, it's a real need for energetic healing. But this healing isn't just emotional, it's also physical. Healing vibrations, the gentle rhythm of a dog's breathing and heartbeat, and even the subtle grunts they make when relaxed, create healing vibrations that can stimulate cellular repair in their humans. Healing warmth. A dog's body heat isn't just physical, it's energetic. When a dog lies on a painful area of our body, it's delivering a healing warmth that can speed up tissue regeneration. Healing pressure. Dogs seem to know instinctively where to apply pressure to stimulate energy meridians. When they lay on us or press with their paws, they are often performing a type of intuitive acupressure. Casey even found that different breeds have healing specialties. Large dogs are experts at healing deep trauma and feelings of insecurity. Small dogs excel at healing anxiety and self-esteem issues. Calm, quiet dogs are masters at healing stress and overwhelm. High energy, playful dogs are perfect for healing depression and apathy. The most extraordinary thing is that dogs perform this healing work consciously. They know exactly what their job is, and they choose to take on our pain to help us evolve. Energy cleansing baths, time in nature, joyful play, and immense affection are how we help our dogs release the dense energies they've taken from us. It is our duty to repay the healing service they offer us every single day. When we understand our dogs are spiritual healers, our gratitude expands infinitely. They are not pets. They are four-legged angels on a sacred mission to heal us. And this healing is only the beginning of the transformation they bring into our lives.